not to bite it, but I don't want to break a tooth.
Okay.
That'd be worse. Good afternoon. At this time, I would like to call the Board of Appeals meeting to order. Roll call.
All right, Commissioner Homer Knight.
Here.
Commissioner Rosalie Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Eric Wallace Jr. Commissioner Thomas Cochran.
Here.
Commissioner Brenda Cooper. Commissioner Sinitra Hutcherson. Commissioner William Strong.
Here.
Chair, we do have a quorum.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
And at this time, we will move into the election of officers. We have a motion on the floor for vice chair.
Question.
Yes, sir.
This is my first time in a meeting with appeal. I'm just meeting everybody. So I didn't know this was coming up, the election.
Yes, so on this, we haven't had a meeting since July of 2021, and the vice chair and chair are required
Okay.
to be.
Gotcha.
My apologies for not explaining that better. I wasn't sure who was new and who was not, so that is my apology.
Anyone here that's already been present on the appeal board?
Yes.
Yes.
Most of this,
Okay. I recommend Mr. Is it Stokes?
Strawn.
Strong. Well, you been on the appeal board too? Mr.
Yes. Mr. Stones, I guess what it is, a lot of the members don't know the names of the other members there, which is a problem. Mr. Stokes was the co-chair, vice chair, and I was the chair previously.
I recommend Mr.
Strong.
Strawn.
Vice
all
chair.
right, we do have a motion on the floor to nominate the vice chair as Mr. William Strawn. Do we have a second on that?
All right.
Second by Commissioner Cooper. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, that motion passes. Congratulations, Commissioner Strawn, you are the vice chair again.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, and now to move on to chair. Do we have any motions on the floor for nomination of a chair for the board for the year 2022?
I nominate Mr. Thomas Cochran.
All right, there is a motion on the floor. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Cooper. And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, that motion passes. Commissioner Cochran, you are chair again this for 2022.
All right.
And
Thank
I
you
will
very
turn the
much.
meeting back over to you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to announce public comments, if we have any. And if we have any public hearing, the comments of the Board of Appeals shall limit no more than 2 minutes. Groups wishing to address an issue shall select 1 or 2 spokespersons. The time allowed for all issues shall not exceed the total 15 minutes. Issues raised at this time are generally referred to the city administrator or to appropriate department for review. Response will be provided at a later date. Do we have any public comment? Not seeing any. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda? Everybody has seen the agenda, gone through it. So can we have a motion on adopting the agenda? Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion's been nominated and second. So be it. So
Those
be
in
it.
favor?
Aye.
You have to say all those in favor.
I didn't hear you.
All those in favor?
I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So be the move. Okay. Next, we have approval of the minutes. The minutes that we have from last year, so I don't know if all the members have the minutes from last year. Okay, we do. Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Yes, I present a motion to adopt the minutes.
Second.
Have a approval, have a vote for adopt the minutes? Approval for the minutes?
Yes. Aye.
Yes.
In favor?
All opposed? Minutes adopted. At this time, we have on the agenda a public hearing. And the subject today is the stream buffer variance 2022098. Bohanna Road Distribution Center, 0 Bohanna Road, parcel ID 09F080000300548.
All right, thank you, Chair. As you said, this is case 2022-098. It is a stream buffer variance for the Bohannan Distribution Center. Currently, the applicant is proposing a 354,180 square foot single-story warehouse that would encroach into the 25-foot impervious surface buffer that the city holds, the 50-foot undisturbed buffer that the city holds, and the 25-foot state stream buffer that the state holds, and that would be on both sides of the stream bank there. And this would include piping a portion of the stream buffer below the proposed structure. And as you all saw this morning, the applicant did receive a stream buffer variance from the State of Georgia Department of Natural Resources. However, the applicant is still waiting on permits from the Army Corps of Engineers and still needs to address comments from the city engineer. So at this time, the applicant has asked for a motion to continue this to our next scheduled meeting, which would be next month.
Okay. Is that the approval of the, do I have to get approval of them before we go? Any comment?
Well, because this is a public hearing, you have to open it up for
Okay.
comment from the public, for those who are in favor and for those who are in opposition.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing of people in favor of the variance.
Do I state my name for the record? Is that how this goes? I'm Vinny Aglioloro. Address is 3520 Piedmont Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30305. I represent the applicant. And, you know, I'm happy to talk as little or as much as you all would like about the request tonight. But do respectfully request that you all uphold the deferral request.
Question.
Yes, sir.
What is the deferral request based on extending the time? Why are we deferring it?
Why are we deferring it? Our request to defer is because, you know, with these stream buffer variances and impacting streams, there's 3 levels of approval. There's the approval from the Army Corps at the federal level. There's approval at the state level from the EPD, and there's also the approval here, you know, from the city. You know, we have one of the 3 approvals from the EPD, as Richard mentioned. We received that this morning, but we thought we would have the approval from the Corps by now, but we did not. So, you know, we would like to get that buttoned up before you know, going in front of the board for approval or denial.
Could you take any questions just for now that just asked? I just needed to know, or you're just going to defer the whole thing?
Our request is to go ahead and defer and have you know, the lengthier discussion next month once we're ready, you know, to go up for the decision by the board. But because I'm here tonight, I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
Okay, I'm gonna put a motion on the table that we do not defer this based on some of the information in the conditions here. And the city that you have to meet, I need to know whether you're gonna meet those requirements. And I would like to know, what is the hardship? The reason it says the hardship is why you're extending this building to 300,000 square feet rather than 194,108. Is that hurdle gonna be taken on, or is that gonna always remain the same?
The size of the building that we're proposing to build will remain the same at the 316,000 square feet. I think Richard mentioned 350,000 square feet. That was a maximum build out if we were to impact more of the stream than we were proposing to impact. But the 316,000 square foot building is the size of the building that we will be requesting to impact, and you know, that level of stream impact is what has been approved by the EPD to date, and what we anticipate the Army Corps to approve that same level of impact in the coming weeks.
Okay, what I'm concerned about, what is the hardship?
So the hardship is the fact that without any kind of without any variance from the city, from the board, 35% roughly of the property is essentially rendered useless and untouchable, and you know, that's a significant amount of the property. That's 8 of the 23 acres. Our understanding is that the city has heard several of these cases in the past, you know, from our discussions with the city planner a couple months ago, and you know, in all of the cases, they've been industrial buildings that have come across the board, and the board has been willing to accept them, and you know, having to do with kind of the rigidity of this type of building. You know, it's a big concrete rectangle with associated drives and loading areas, and automobile parking for employees, and it really doesn't leave, you know, a whole lot of room for you know, manipulating the building. And you know, one thing I'll also point out is just the stream itself. You know, this isn't a significant natural resource. It's quote unquote an intermittent stream, which, you know, by definition is a stream that, you know, has water running through it occasionally, but not always. You know, this isn't the bucolic stream that Andy's taken Opie out fishing on. You know, it occasionally has water running through it. It's, you know, it's not a significant natural resource that you know, ought to be protected. There's a head wall at the north end of the property where there's a lot of runoff water that's coming from a neighboring property, and you know, arguably you could say that, you know, this this stream might not have existed before without the, all of that water being dumped onto the site and then kind of funneling, through the topography of the site to the, to the major stream feature that runs along the western edge of the property.
Okay, but what you're not addressing though, specifically the hardship, because you can build a 194,000 square feet, and it's still a profitable building. The hardship, that's what you got to address, because that's what one of the criteria is. But it's a hardship. Building a larger building is profitable for the developer. Building a smaller building is still profitable. You're just gonna make less money because it's a smaller building. I don't see the hardship, and I don't see no reason to delay this if you can't meet that criteria.
I mean, the hardship is simply the very significant amount of land that's left untouchable. And, when the property, it's really a hardship on the property owner. I don't own the property right now. We're anticipating to purchase the property, and, without this variance, the property is arguably unmarketable. When the property owner took ownership of this property, decades and decades ago, that was before stream requirements and regulations were in place, and maybe even before this stream was in place. So, it's a significant hardship on the owner of the property, who, this stream has maybe come to be over the years, and that's an issue. And I would also say it's a hardship on the city. If the property doesn't get developed, this is jobs that are foregone. This is property tax revenue that is foregone. In the current state of the property, there's about $2,000 annually that's generated in tax revenue. With the development of the 315,000 square foot building that we're planning to build, the taxes are $300,000 plus in annual revenue. And this type of facility could generate up to 300 to 700 jobs. We've built, just to touch on who our company is, we build buildings nationally. We're headquartered in Atlanta. We were founded in Atlanta in '96. And in recent years, we built several buildings of this same size. And, the recent 3 that we've built have had anywhere from 300 to 900 employees. So that's a lot of taxes, a lot of jobs.
I'm sure the city considered all that, but based on what the city said, you had not met the criteria to move the same forward. So can I put a motion on the table?
Well, right now, we're
No,
still in
no.
public
Oh, okay.
hearing.
Okay,
Public
so
hearing.
that's all the question I have.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone else?
Literally, a good question, I guess, is that what you're saying, that the alternate plan that was surrendered on 330 is not an option? The 194?
Yes, sir. That's really not an option for us. The demand in the market is for larger buildings. We need to be able to build a larger building to meet that demand. Due to the cost of everything's going up today, and those small buildings are tough to build just due to inflationary pressures and the cost to build it. And it's just not really economically viable from our perspective.
There was about 9 conditions that was given to you through the EPD. Do you see any problem with those conditions?
No, we're certainly acceptable, amenable to all those conditions, and as well to the condition that Richard included in his report. I think he said, to the extent that this is approved, it would be approved condition on the fact that that the engineering comments that we received at the end of last week are addressed in the final design, which would be in the LDP, land disturbance permit review period. Those weren't addressed initially in our site plan simply because it was more of a preliminary site plan that oftentimes we save the nitty gritty for the land disturbance permit review. It wasn't necessarily a requirement of the application itself. that's why that wasn't addressed.
And also to go further on that, the state does say the buffer variance conditions must be incorporated into any land disturbing activity permit issued by the city of Fairburn. So the city would also be taking on those conditions for review if this were to be approved.
I mean, is the board open to our deferral request? That,
We're still into, we're not into that section yet. If anybody
okay,
don't have any
that's the next
questions.
step. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
So anybody else have any other questions?
Well, yeah, I have one. So, because I don't know if it's gonna be deferred or not, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask this question. On these plats that we got, the proposed, blueprints here, on C 1.0, it doesn't show the parking lot that it shows in C 8.2. Is that just like, we're gonna have a parking lot maybe on one and not the other?
I'm gonna say, shooting from a hip, you're looking at one plan that might be more of a grading plan that shows the kind of land disturbance and the grading activity, and not necessarily the lines associated with the auto parking and the truck parking.
Okay.
I'm trying to find that specific page.
Well, so I'm confused, 'cause they got a 3,100 warehouse, and we got a 354 warehouse. So are we going with the 354? That's the one we're going with?
No, the 315,917,000.
That's what we're going with?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
315,917,000 square feet is what we're going for. And if you look at C 8.2,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah.
I mean, that shows you all of the associated parking and drives.
Yeah, I'm just confused, because there's so many different sizes on these things, I didn't know, so we're definitely going with 315, okay.
Yes, the 354,000 square feet is what, we were asked to include alternative development scenarios. So we showed a scenario that if we elected to try to remove more of the stream, that's what we could build. Or if we just weren't able to touch anything, what we then could build. So that's the purpose of those. But the 316,000 square foot building, roughly, is what we would intend to build. And you can see on our site plan, there are retaining walls and other features that are included to really try to minimize the stream impacts. So that comes at a cost to us, and we're trying to stay out of as much of the stream as we can.
And it was also talking about, I'm not a construction guy, so it's talking about installing a pipe. So we're gonna put like a pipe underground, and the stream's gonna go through the pipe where you're impeding it?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay.
In layman's terms, there'll be an inlet structure, on the northern end of the site where the stream it initiates from the northern end, so it's flowing north to south, southwest. So you catch it on the northern part, and there'd be an outfall structure that would flow it out into the stream at the western edge of the property.
Okay.
More questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say, for instance, you may not receive approval from the Army Corps of Engineers. Will you be reducing the size of the warehouse or not? If they don't approve, we got one waiting for us, and then the Corps of Engineers. Will you be getting an approval from them? And if not, will you reduce the size at that time?
Do we foresee getting an approval from them? Yes, we do foresee. We're in the final stages of that process, and we anticipate getting that in the coming weeks. I'll note that in some cases, in other parts of the city where we've been issued these types of variances, condition of approval could be, we're approving the city stream buffer variance subject to you ultimately getting the nationwide permit from the Army Corps. So just another way to skin it, and we would be amenable to that if that is something that you all would be open to.
You used up a time at this time, thank you very much.
Am I done? Okay. I would like to say that, this is something that we didn't do with the initial submittal of the application, but is something that we're always supposed to do with these, and I'd like to enter into the record our legal and constitutional objections.
Say that again.
I'm just saying that I'd like to enter into the record our legal and constitutional objections. It's something that with zoning or variance applications, they're always included, but it was not included in our initial application, so I would just like to enter it into the record, at this time. Legalese. Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
At this time, I'd like to open up questions, in petitions against the project. Okay, at this time, we don't have anyone against it, so I guess you don't have any rebuttals. Okay, then. Okay, back, I have the final closing comments from the staff, if I can, at this time.
Nope, staff is still just recommending deferral of the project, continuation of the application until the next regularly scheduled meeting, as we have a developer willing to try to meet all the standards and get all the necessary permits before coming before you. So staff is in favor of the continuation, but that decision is left up to you all as appointed board members.
Yeah. Okay, so what you're saying is something that I'm looking at myself. There's a lot of moving parts right now. We've got 2 out of 3 requirements that's not still in question. The Corps of Engineers and also the city engineers. So at this time,
I got a question for the engineer. Are you going, the article that says you see no hardship, is that going to be removed?
At this time, nothing is being removed from the staff report. I believe a staff recommendation.
Will it be removed?
Based on the site plan now, no, it would not be removed. I have no idea what the Army Corps of Engineers is going to come back and say. That may change the entire site plan. It may kill the project completely. We have no idea what that's going to be like, so staff will make recommendations once we get a new site plan submitted, if you all do decide to continue this case.
Okay, but the gentleman said that he was not going to reduce the size of the building. So if you're not going to reduce the size of the building, it's up to the city staff to either remove that criteria, hardship, because if that hardship stays in place, I don't see the purpose of going to another meeting, because there's no hardship. Those boundary lines and buffer zones is there for a purpose. And you can't just be shifting things in the city just for profitable, making more profit for a company. They made a recommendation of 194.08, and if that's still the recommendation and the boundary, that's not going to change, I don't see the purpose of deferring it till next meeting, because they already said it tonight. They wanted to do this to 300,000, and they can't do the smaller one.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
So unless you're going to make some changes, it's just having another meeting for what purpose?
So the way that staff reviews this right now is that we have a higher power that's about to review this. The federal government can come in and say, no, this cannot happen, and regardless of what, if you were to approve this tonight and the federal government comes in and says, no, you can't do it, the project's dead. So staff's protectors, like, we would like to see what the Army Corps of Engineers say. It may change the project, and it may become a project that you all are willing to approve of. And at this time, we would like to see what happens there. If nothing changes, staff's recommendation does not change. If there are improvements to the site plan, staff's recommendation may change.
Okay, understood.
Is there a particular time frame?
The timeframe on that? Army Corps of Engineer approval?
Yeah, we're in the final stages, as I mentioned earlier, and we fully anticipate having that by the next meeting, which I believe is scheduled for October 20th. We're weeks out at this point from getting that approval, the final stage. And to the point about the hardship and the initial staff recommendation of denial. I was looking at the bylaws of the Board of Appeals, and it says that this is the whole point of the Board of Appeals, right? To quote unquote authorize upon appeal in specific cases of variance, as will not be contrary to the public interest, where owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement would result in unnecessary hardship. So, my interpretation. It's up for interpretation, right? You can say it can be a totally literal interpretation that would say you can develop a 10,000 square foot building on this property, so you can't get a variance to go build your 10,000 square foot building. But in this case, the size of the building shrinks by 40%. It's not an economically viable building. 35% of the property is left rendered unuseless. That seems to be an unnecessary and undue hardship that is created by a literal interpretation of the code, in my opinion. I know that from discussions with the previous city planner, Tarika Peaks, she was very favorable about this at the onset, and we had very positive discussions that many of these have come through the city. And when they have, it's been industrial buildings, and they've been approved, to be frank. So I was a bit surprised by the staff report, but it's in the hands of you fine people at this point. So that's the last thing I wanted to address.
Okay, you have any closing comments, from staff?
That's all from staff.
Yeah, staff. Before we do, is it proper in order for us to discuss it within us right at this moment?
Yes, if you'd like, before you call a motion, if you'd like, you can.
The hardship that you're talking about, to me, is on the owner of the property, selling the property, getting the property sold. It's not on them, because if they don't get the property, they're not gonna buy it if we don't do it. That seems to be the point of view.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think we are on right now what happens with the core. And then the other part about it is the staff, still after we get the results. And like you said, he gave them some legal papers to look at. So we got some things that we have to go through before we get all the information that we need. That's just me, that's thing. So at this time, can I have a motion on this petition?
Do we want a motion to defer?
What now?
Do we want a motion to defer to a later date?
If that's the motion.
Yeah, I put a motion forward, we defer in 1 month's time again. We get some more information.
Do I get a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So moved that we will move it and reschedule it and come back. Okay, and that's, and to clarify, that's for Varium 16 LDV -001. I'm sorry, I'm reading, I'm sorry. I'm reading from my, from something here, my cheat sheet. That's in reference to the Varium, stream buffer Varium 2022-098. Bullhamel Road Distribution Center. Parcel ID number 09F0800003000548. Okay. Let's we move on. Do we have any new business? We don't have any new business on tap. We don't have any old business. And do the staff have any announcements?
We have no announcements now, except we'll see you all next month.
Okay. All right, members' comment? Starting,
It's nice to meet all the new people on the board here, so.
And I feel honored to be here with you all, and we'll do the best that I can do. I mean, I'm a retired teacher, so I'm gonna have some homework I'll have to.
okay, Roser,
Rosalie
Rosalie. Okay, what was that last name again?
Williams.
Williams, okay, all right. Mrs. Cooper?
This is my second year, and second year, being on the field board, so it's been an experience. And I will say, the question, when we get the, Army Corps engineer report, can we just get that report and not get all this other? We've got the plots and we've got the land, can we just get that report too?
Yes, we still have to publish the full packet with any new documentation. However, I can send you all what's new in your packet,
Right.
send you a modified version along with it. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I prefer the whole package though. You know, make sure ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, I
I like to
did.
read everything here before I come here. The,
I'll send you a copy of both, the modified version
right.
and the whole package.
I looking forward to serving with you guys. You know, I've been on this, done this before, but due to everyone here, and I'm looking forward to working with the city and as well as builders and developer, but at the same time making sure our city is protected.
Okay. I'm glad to be back another year, and I'd like to put in the minutes that we really have a lot of gratitude. Ms. Peace was moved on. She was really, really conscientious. She was very thorough in what she did, an explanation of all what went on, and she was a great help to myself and the people on the board over the years. She was really great. So we've got Mr. Edwards in, and we're getting acquainted with Mr. Edwards and work with him.
Yes, it's nice to be here with you all as well. And
And
the interim director, Rebecca Kiefer, will be here with you all next month too, most likely.
we will contact you, as I'll contact you last 2 days, right?
You have.
I will.
Feel free to reach out to me anytime. That's my cell phone number on my email address, so give me a call.
Okay. At this time, comments, do we have a motion for adjournment?
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Thanks, everybody.